Welcome this evening to the Yale Angels pitch-off for 2022. Before we get started, I would like to introduce our performance for this evening. Before we start the pitch competition, everyone please welcome Ilana Zaks, Yale School of Music, class of 2022. Amazing. Oh my God, Ilana, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was incredible. Ilana, do you just want to say a word?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you all so much for coming for this incredible event. As Wendy mentioned, I graduated in 2022, and the piece that you just heard was Piazzolla's Tango Etude number 3. And this is a piece that was composed actually originally for flute. It's part of Piazzolla's 6 tango etudes for solo flute, and this is an arrangement for solo violin. So you just heard Piazzolla's Tango Etude number 3.
Fantastic.
Thank you all so much for having me.
It was a pleasure. We were honored. Thank you so much, Ilana.
Okay. Best of luck to all of the everybody who's pitching tonight, and I'm excited to watch.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. I'm going to now, let's see, can I make you, okay. I'm going to have to put you, if you can log in as an audience member, that would be great. Thanks, Ilana.
That's good.
Okay,
Thank you.
talk to you later. All right, bye. So welcome everyone to the 2022 Yale Angels Pitch Off. It is a delight to have all of you here. So my name is Wendy Maldonado D'Amico. I'm Yale College class of 1993, and I am the director of Accelerate Yale and Yale Angels. Our pitch off this evening is sponsored by the Yale University Office of Development. Just give me 1 second here because I want to pull up a beautiful slide that they sent me. Yes, so the Yale University Office of Development is our platinum sponsor for this evening. The Yale University Office of Development is proud to sponsor the Yale Angels Pitch Off of 2020-22. Yale supports access, innovation, and breakthroughs for all of humanity. We invite you to join us and to declare boldly, what are you for? You can learn more about Yale's groundbreaking For Humanity campaign by going to forhumanity.yale.edu. I'd also like to thank our bronze sponsors, Yale Ventures and Newfront Insurance. Really appreciate your support. I'd also like to say that this event tonight is supported by the YIA shared interest groups, without whom our events are not possible. And we were also co-sponsored by a number of shared interest groups throughout the Yale community, including the Yale Black Alumni Association, the Yale Latino Alumni Network, the Association of Asian American Alumni at Yale, Yale Gala, First Gen Yale, Yale Blue Green, the Yale Club of Silicon Valley, Yale Fin, Yale Women NYC, Yale Women NorCal, and as well as Sci-City. We're really grateful for Sci-City's support as well. So please note that we are being recorded this evening. And this evening session will be a little longer than our usual session. It'll be about an hour and 30 minutes. And what we would encourage you to do is to come into the chat, introduce yourselves, drop in your LinkedIn. We want to see who's here, talk among yourselves. We can't see you, but we know you're out there. And then we're planning to wrap up at about 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So you will hear from the startups shortly. But first I would like to introduce my two teammates, Joe Ilfeld and Ellen Sue, without whom this pitch off would not be taking place because they were literally the engine room that made all of this happen. So I'm going to go off screen. Joe, Yale College class of 1996, and Ellen, Yale College class of 2013. Thank you so much, ladies. I'm going to hand it off to you.
Thanks, Wendy. It's wonderful to be here as part of the Yale Angels Pitch Off, and great to see so many people attending here tonight as well. We've had almost 80 incredible submissions to the pitch competition, and I have to tell you, it was very, very hard for our reviewers to narrow the field, but it is great to see the entrepreneurial spirit alive and well at Yale community. Before we hear the pitches, I have the honor of introducing our 6 rock star judges for the evening. So I'd like each of you to come onto camera now, and I'd love you to introduce yourselves by your Yale year, your company, and of course your name. But Kevin, will you start us off?
Great, Joe. Yeah, greetings from the Bahamas. My name is Kevin Burrows. I am Yale College class of 93, which kind of makes me one of the older judges here. I am the founder and chief investment officer of Diomedea Capital Advisors. We're a Caribbean-focused venture capital and private equity fund manager. And prior to that, I've worked as a CIO and asset allocator, both here in Nassau as well as in London for institutions and family offices.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kevin. BG?
Hello, everyone. Greetings from San Francisco. I'm BG. I'm Yale Computer Science PhD, 1995. This is my 5th year as a partner at the San Francisco firm 8VC. We're an enterprise software firm, and I run the enterprise software infrastructure track here. Delighted to be learning from all these smart entrepreneurs.
I agree. Thanks, BG. Josh?
Hey everyone, I am a 2011 grad from Yale as well. Thank you for everyone for putting this on. I too am really excited. I am the co-founder of a group called Create Venture Studio, where we build businesses. And I'm thrilled to be here.
Thanks so much, Josh. Matt.
Hello, everyone. Excited to be here. This is awesome. My name is Matt LaCasse. I'm Yale class of 2010. I'm also married to a Yale 2010, Lizzie Ackerman. She and I built a company called BirchBenders from the ground up. It's a pancake and waffle mix company, frozen waffles, baking mixes in the natural food space, and built it for 10 years and exited in 2020. And so since then, I've been an angel investor. So I think I'm in the right room.
You're definitely in the right room. And now I want to make sure it's clear that our female judges are not going last because they're female, just because their last names happen to be at the end of the alphabet. But Catherine, you're next.
Thanks for having me. And I was certainly not worried. So my name is Catherine Stewart. I was Yale 05. I'm a venture and board partner at Basis Set Ventures in San Francisco. And I also run an advisory business called Upswing. And through that, I advise CEOs in their operations and serve as an independent director on a couple Bay Area tech companies. And I also do some angel investing on the side. So I'm very excited to meet our pitching companies.
Yeah, we all are. Last but not least, Jillian.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Jillian Williams, class of 2015, focus on seed and pre-seed investments at Cowboy Ventures. We're a generalist fund based out of Bay Area in New York, and I'm in New York, and I specialize in fintech. Great to meet everybody.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. We are excited, and I know the companies are excited to hear your questions and your wisdom. But now it is time to get to the star attractions. But before we do, I'm just going to quickly explain our format for the evening. There are 6 final teams selected, as I said, from a pool of nearly 80 applicants, all with some affiliation to Yale. Each team will have 5 minutes to pitch, and we have told them we are going to mute them at the end of 5 minutes to make it fair. So if someone gets cut off mid-sentence, you'll know that they had warning. And then a few minutes for Q&A with the judges. After all the 6 teams have pitched, the judges will depart to a separate Zoom room, and they'll have about 10 to 15 minutes to choose the winner and the runner-up. Both the winner and the runner-up will have cash prizes tonight. And during these 10 minutes, members of the leadership team of Accelerate Yale and Yale Angels, which I'm thrilled to be a part of, will join us to share information on upcoming events, as well as highlighting the semi-finalist teams, who were also amazing. And we really welcome you to use the chat. Please know we're not going to be accepting any questions from the audience to our teams, but I'm sure they would be thrilled to be in contact with you later, especially if you're an investor or interested in their company. And now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Ellen.
All right. Hello, everybody. I have the absolute honor to be introducing our finalists. So now it is time for the main show. We'll proceed in alphabetical order with our 6 finalists. We have, first up will be Catapult with Susie Lee. We have Flippit with Natalie and Richard. We have Flowley, Celine with Celine Tien presenting. We have Jimble with Trey Phyllis, and we have Midnight Oil Collective with the team there with Francis, Edwin, and Shola. And then we also have Hellometer with Alex bringing up the pack. So without further ado, I would first like to bring up to stage Catapult. Let's welcome Susie Lee as our first presenter. Welcome, Susie, and good luck. Please remember that Wendy will let you know when your time is up, and your sound will be cut off if you go over. We've got 5 minutes for pitch and a few minutes for questions afterwards.
Great, hang on one second. Hello, everybody. Thanks for attending here. Okay, I think we're good. All right. Can everyone see my screen? Great. All right. I'm going to just move this up here. Okay. So, hi, I'm Susie, class of 94 Davenport. I'm excited to share with you our startup called Catapult, an AI-powered video navigation platform. So what does that mean? It means that we can take all your videos, your gatherings, interviews, classes, tournaments, and conferences, and in just a few clicks, help you understand what's inside there and get you just the content that you need. Because the problem that we're trying to solve is unsticking those thousands of hours of videos that businesses have stuck in storage without the staff or expertise to go through all that content. It's incredibly painful, and our customers were just throwing bodies at the problem before or losing critical growth opportunities. There's a huge demand to utilize video content in a way that's both economically affordable and way less stressful, and Catapult does that in just a few clicks. Take your thousands of hours of footage and with AI and transcription navigation, get to exactly what you need. So whether it's short marketing videos for content creators or for hybrid asynchronous workforces, being able to quickly scan meetings and index all that institutional knowledge, Catapult can do that work. So let's take, for example, last year's Yale Pitch-Off. This is about an hour and a half content, and if you wanted to make a highlight to share to a wider audience, you'd have to first download this content. Well, first you'd have to hire an editor at $200 an hour. They'd have to download this content, which would take a few hours, and then scan laboriously to try to find the relevant pieces of information. This might take a few weeks. You'd be out $1,000, and it still might not have the content that you want. And Catapult can solve this problem, and let me show you the magic right now. So for us, it's just a matter of copy and paste video links. Never download a file ever again. So you can just go get a cup of coffee. Don't worry about your internet speeds or whether or not your laptop falls asleep, because when you come back, your link will be there one click away. And here it is. So whether or not you have 20 minutes of footage or 20 hours of footage, you can get to any point in that footage super fast and easy. You can navigate anywhere you want at this point in time. Our AI models are based on different sets of data. So this one detects audio peaks. So as you go along the footage, you can find when someone is excited and talking. We can also detect laughing, clapping, cheering, and you can quickly hone in to that exciting moment. If this were a live stream, we'd be able to synchronize the video with the chat. You could search the chat, and our AI models also can surface the relevant topics that people are talking about. And for us, transcription, we know, is for this kind of presentation, transcription is a really powerful way to navigate this kind of content. You can just skim this to understand what's going on. You can also jump to any point.
We'll be initially launching
and therefore know who's talking about something and what they're talking about and the context in which they're talking about that thing. You can also search this transcript, and because this is a competition of last year, I'm going to look up winner, quickly scan to all the points that winner is mentioned, and from that you can understand that RXL was that winner, and because of the name of that company, I'm going to actually now type medicine to identify their pitch, and very quickly go to a point that's a really cool fact about them, click the beginning of that, and click out the part that I want at the end, hit return, and bam, you have your promotional clip in less than 30 seconds. So in terms of video landscape, while many other companies are in video are addressing the later stages of editing when you already have your 10 or 15 minutes of clips that you still actually have to upload onto their platform, we see a huge disruptive opportunity in being able to handle and analyze video at scale. And we believe that our system, by first tackling sheer volume and fast navigation better than anyone else, allows us to develop features and address competitors easily. Our team, which came together with a passion for understanding the stories that we all have in our videos, has strong skill sets. Mike, our CEO, founded Cortana, no easy feat, at Microsoft, and Constance was first at Microsoft and most recently a lead engineer at Dropbox with a deep knowledge of digital storage. And for me, this is my second startup and comes by the way first of being an inner city school teacher, sculptor, and now entrepreneur. So I know how to build community and hustle with no money. But speaking of money, we're now raising our $1.5 million pre-seed round for development and accelerated customer acquisition. Our first customers from our beta are thrilled and paying. And now we know that we have this incredible window opportunity to transfer how we activate video with Catapult. Thank you. Okay, and I'm done. Questions?
Yeah, I'll go first. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Maybe I'd love to understand a little bit more on like who the target customer is. So like, what does that look like right now? And like, what does the average contract value, what is the average contract size?
Sure. So first of all, we make money through a meter pay-as-you-go as well as a subscription feature. And so for us, it's actually an incredibly competitive 15 cents an hour of gigabyte uploaded, as well as 5 cents a minute for transcription. And then there's subscription packages of anywhere between $10 and $50. What we have seen right now is we've just come out of our closed beta where we were testing with Twitch streamers. So we actually have live streamers come in as part of our audience, YouTubers and content creators. And also we are now incorporating organizations, so media platforms that are creating marketing content for their organizations. And we are exploring now potentially like the conferences and this kind of thing that have lots of video and need to be able to create quick highlights very quickly and easily for them.
Okay, so it's been more individual focused, at least like, I know we're super early, but it's been more individual initially, but now we're thinking more of like businesses and enterprise sales. Okay.
Correct. So basically our initial one was to test the robustness of the system and basically say, we know that streamers create a lot of content regularly from 4 to 6 hour streams daily. So when our system, we were confident about being able to handle that, we were then able to expand confidently more to the organizations that we know we can deliver value. And so I think our target basically is anywhere from about for individual customers, about $50 a month. And obviously for larger customers, anywhere from $500 to hopefully $1,000.
I have another question for you. What does the competitive landscape look like in this space?
Sure. So as I mentioned before, let's actually go back to that slide. So there are a lot of competitors that are now looking at kind of, again, the later stages of video so that you have the clips and you then want to edit them, maybe scan just those individual clips quickly. I think the most recent and more interesting competitors are things like Descript, which uses, which does some transcription, obviously. But they, again, don't do as good a job of basically navigating what's inside that footage. And especially if you have anything over like 30 minutes, it's quite difficult to navigate. And then the other kind of competitors that people often look at are things like Canva and Kapwing, where they do a lot of the design work at the end. And in fact, for us, we actually think we're complementary them because we can actually, for example, with Canva, we're developing a feature that can connect to their API so that once you identify the content and upload and analyze with our AI navigation what you have, then you can import those clips into Canva.
Great, thank you.
That way.
Okay. I have a question. What's your economic moat around this business? I mean, what protects you from someone coming in and kind of doing it faster, quicker, better with deeper pockets?
So I think that we, definitely looked at the video landscape at the very beginning to see kind of what was happening video-wise and trends. So in fact, what we first started out with was kind of the short video format, and then had to pivot when we realized that TikTok was coming up and quickly overtaking that kind of scene. But what we did realize is that, when you look at larger competitors like Google or even YouTube, their business models aren't really based on people trying to find out, and trying to grab the clips from the content. What they want to do is be able to actually create, store that.
Sorry, you're at
I think you got
time.
muted.
Sorry, Susie, you're at time. Okay.
Sorry, can I answer this question or?
No, you're at time. I'm sorry, Susie.
Okay,
just to be fair to everybody. Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Go ahead, Ellen.
All right. Thank you so much, Susie. And thank you to the judges for your questions. Our second finalist is Flipit. Please join me in welcoming Natalie and Richard. Good luck to the both of you. All right, if you're able to unmute, there we go.
Okay, we are not able to share because we can't control the screen.
So Susie, can you please take your, stop sharing? Thank you. Okay. So why don't we see if that works now?
No, I'm still seeing Susie's share screen.
Okay. Let's try it again. Let's see here. All panelists. Okay. Try it once more.
Nope.
Let's see here. Susie, I'm trying to think of, hold on just 1 second.
No, that's not okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to stop sharing. Let's see if maybe that reset it. Can you try again, Richard and Natalie?
I'm still getting a
Yeah,
different.
Wendy, if you just make them a code.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There you
There we
go.
go.
Okay, cool.
Am
All right,
I still
excellent.
sharing?
Yes.
Let me know when you're
we
ready and I'll
see-
start it.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
you're all set.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay,
Go.
we're here to introduce Flippit, easing the frustration of airport security. Our son, a scout, went on a trip and forgot to take his Swiss Army knife out of his backpack. A TSA officer at Dulles Airport found it and he had to give it up. He texted us this. We had given him the knife when he was 7 years old. It wasn't expensive, but it had a lot of sentimental value. Most travelers have had the same experience and it still bothers them today, no matter how long ago it happened. This is a problem. In fact, every day, thousands of travelers surrender possessions they forgot to take out of their carry-ons or didn't know were prohibited on board aircraft. They lose valuable items, passengers are frustrated, and everyone, including TSA officers, is stressed. My co-founder, Richard, began his career at Procter & Gamble, and we know it's important to gauge consumer opinion. We conducted a survey of air travelers, and their feedback provides support for the idea of Flippit. 73% of those surveyed had to give up an item. 56% tried to convince the TSA officer to let them keep it, and a third argued for more than 30 seconds. Over 2/3 said they would pay to use Flippit. The scale of the problem is huge. TSA gets so many items, they don't count them, they weigh them. Flipit allows air travelers to send prohibited items to a designated address. We charge a flat fee of $29 to ship anywhere in the US. Items are repackaged for safety, insured, and tracked. And our patent pending quick drop system uses smartphone technology to make the process easy and fast. No paper forms to fill out, no creating an account, username, or password, and phone support is available at 1-877-FLIPIT for non-smartphone users. This is how Flippit works. Check out our explainer video at flipit.com/how-it-works. We have traction. We launched at our first airport, Wilkes-Barre-Scranton in Pennsylvania at the end of April. We have TSA support. Our technology platform is up and running, and we're launching in Hartford and Providence this summer. Why now? The FAA expects air travel to recover from the pandemic by 2024. There's pent-up demand now, and volume is expected to resume rapid growth as airports and airlines rebuild. Flippit will quickly become profitable with a gross margin of 50% at national scale. Our target market is all US airline passengers. Annual US revenue potential of the core business is over $50 million. Once we've established the core business in the US, we plan to expand service internationally and also to leverage our technology for other opportunities we have identified at airports. This could significantly increase our revenue. There is one competitor in this space. Airport Mailers was started in 2003, but has been in retreat due to COVID and merged with sister company MailSafe Express earlier this year. They use outdated technology, offer cumbersome user experiences, long delivery times, and no package insurance. They're no match for Flippit's patent pending quick drop system. Our business model is fee for service. We offer a flat fee and can enhance revenue with upgrades in expedited and international service plus additional insurance. Our customers are all US air travelers. For channels, we offer airports a 10% revenue share and TSA officers creative programs to build awareness. We have a seasoned team and strong advisors with deep industry knowledge, founder experience, and complementary skill sets. How will we grow? This is a problem that needs to be solved. So far, the sales process has been simple. get a meeting with airport management, can be in person or remote, show our 3-minute video. They say, we want to do this. And the airport and TSA communities are tightly knit. We're already networking into more airports where we repeat the process. It's a scalable model. Here's a summary of our 5-year projections. The blue line is revenue, the green line is EBITDA, and the pink bars are gross margin. Revenue is driven by the number of passengers. We plan to expand aggressively once we are underway in our first 3 airports. We seek to raise $500,000 in an initial pre-seed round via safes and crowdfunding. We will use the funds to run our pilots in 3 airports, including launch logistics and related expenses, recruiting and training, and begin expansion to more airports. There are 3 reasons to invest in Flipit. It addresses a universal frustration faced by air travelers. It generates cash very quickly. It can be scaled nationally, internationally, and across related verticals with a minimum of additional capital in a short period of time. Can't take it with you? Flip it back to yourself. Thanks for watching. Any questions?
Okay, where exactly in the terminal is this going to be? Is it right at the metal detectors? At the point of pain?
Sorry, so currently we are located just outside the secure area, but we are negotiating the possibility of placing our Dropbox inside the secure area. And the process is laden with protocol. However, what's interesting is that with all of the pent up frustration during the pandemic, TSA is much more sensitive to the needs of de-escalation and being able to offer passengers a way to limit frustration is a real plus.
Great, thanks.
Thanks so much. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask quickly for the airports that you launched with already, what has been the uptick in terms of actual usage from flyers and customers?
So the airport where we've launched right now, Wilkes-Barre Scranton, is a small airport. It's been the perfect sandbox because it's given us an opportunity to talk to all the different players at the airport, which has allowed us to identify other opportunities for Flipit technology. I would say that we're still gauging what the number of items per passengers is. So it's still a little bit soon to tell. We only launched a month ago.
Okay.
So
And we're going to be launching at Bradley and at Providence in July, and they are an order of magnitude larger than Wilkes-Barre Scranton, so there will be much more volume. But as Natalie said, Wilkes-Barre Scranton was the perfect sandbox for us because there we could speak to all all of the different
stakeholders.
People. Right.
Really quick, how much does it cost from like time of signing the contract? How much does it cost to get one of these actually operational?
How much does it cost for us to stand up an airport?
Yeah.
So I don't know that we have all of our costs in just yet, but
let's say around 4,000 or 5,000.
no, I'd say it's more than that. Let's say probably between 4,000 and 6,000 for Wilkes-Barre Scranton, but we also, we've been doing a lot of things very much on a shoestring. We happen to have a country house nearby, so a lot of things we've been able to get by with. It's a good place.
Sure.
Quick question. I know that you're still in the early days. However, what is your expected margin after you've paid for the shipping cost for these packages?
Well, at scale, our gross margin is 50%.
Okay.
And
National scale.
at national scale. And the other thing is, I don't know if you saw the slide with our financials, we expect that we will break even in year 3. So the first 2 years are building and year 3 is our break even year. And it's a fairly profitable, there's a lot of contribution to the bottom line. It's a fairly profitable business.
Got it. Are you planning to negotiate your own discounted rates with USPS and UPS and so on? Or how are you planning to solve for that?
We are integrating with a a logistics specialist that already gives us negotiated discounted rates with all the major carriers. So although we're prioritizing one carrier, we can ship any carrier.
Okay.
We're at time. Thank you very much,
Excellent.
Richard and Natalie. Go ahead, Ellen.
All
And if you
right.
could please
Thank you
remove
so
your
much.
slides. Thank you.
Perfect. And next up, thank you guys so much. Wonderful job. We have Flowley coming up next. Please join me in welcoming Celine Tien. Good luck, Celine.
Thank you. Hi guys, let me share my screen. Can you all see that?
Yep.
Great. All right, I'll start now. Hi everyone, my name is Celine. I'm Yale College class of 2017, and I'm the founder of Flowley. So I think we all know here, but pain fucking sucks. It sucks for over 50 million Americans with chronic pain, and it sucks so much they spend almost $15 billion out of pocket every year on just alternative pain management. I saw this firsthand because I grew up around people with a lot of pain. I grew up around cancer patients, and I saw them struggle with not just physical pain, but also a psychological one. So anxiety and depression, and even a social one, like feeling really isolated. Pain management, I learned through them, really needs to be three things, right? It needs to be safe, it needs to be effective by addressing the bio, the psycho, and the social parts of pain, but it also needs to be accessible so that the person with the pain can actually use the management device at home when they need it. So with this mission in mind, we built a world-class team of engineers, designers, and developers from Yale, shout out, Hyperloop One and DreamWorks, and an amazing clinical team, including the chair of perioperative medicine of University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, the vice chair of pain there, former chair of NeuroMR at Duke, and a director of research out of USC. So together we developed Flowley, and we were awarded a $1.2 million grant from the National Institutes of Health. And we actually put Flowley through case studies, randomized controlled clinical trials, and so that not only were we able to reduce pain, we were able to reduce 40% on average of opioid usage in 8 weeks of using Flowley. And everything we do is based on thousands of studies already in this space. So I'm going on about like all the context around Flowley. What exactly is it? So Flowley is a mobile app designed for people with chronic pain. Subscribers actually receive a $5 VR headset and a heart rate sensor that collects your biometric data like heart rate and HRV. And then we actually convert that data into visualizations in VR so that you can learn to shift your nervous system from fight or flight mode, which is where all that pain and that anxiety lives, and shift it into this rest, digest, and relaxation mode. And we take basically two existent validated therapies, but then innovate on the form factor to make it super accessible in this patented system. So instead of going on about it, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and try and show you. So when you subscribe, we send you a kit to actually get started. You go into your app, you start a session, and then all you need to do is clip on the sensor, which goes onto your ear. You slip your phone into the VR headset, you lean back, and then you enter all these worlds that are like beautiful and relaxing in of itself. But at the core, you actually see your real-time heart rate and biometric data. And we're actually teaching you through the voiceover, through the biofeedback, how to shift your nervous system to that parasympathetic rest, digest, and relaxation mode. And then as you do better and better, the world changes. More lights light up, will tell you you're in flow. And after a 10-minute session, you can actually see your progress in data. So I'm actually going to let some of our members just share with you their experience.
I would like to say that Flowley empowered me how to manage my pain. Flowley empowered my mother to manage her pain. We're no longer on pain medication.
Well, I want you. I can't say it. Excuse me. I just love you guys. I mean, it's been dramatic. Flowley has changed my life. I've become a much calmer person, and I just love it.
So we launched direct to consumer last year with a $30 a month subscription, which includes the kit. And we grew 100% month over month in net revenue. We grew all through word of mouth from providers who were recommending Flowley to their patients and their communities. Our members today complete an average of 4 Flowley sessions a week. We're also scaling partnerships with providers and pain clinics to grow our membership to 278,000 strong, which would take us to 100 million in ARR. We're also working on further clinical trials, working with the FDA, and pursuing reimbursement with payers to create comprehensive accessibility in the next 3 to 5 years. Today, we're backed by Y Combinator, ARP Innovation Labs, Mavron, and more. We're also partnered with companies in Unilever for distribution and marketing, and companies like Anthem to bring Flowley to their employees as part of their benefits program. Our ask today is to utilize the 10K from this pitch to complete development on our providers portal, which allows doctors to recommend Flowley to their patients and then track their progress with guidance. We're taking existent validated therapies and making them more accessible to dominate a 15
time.
All right. No questions?
Yeah, I had a quick question. Sorry. Celine, right?
That's right.
If you could speak very briefly about the actual secret sauce. I didn't get a clear idea of what the product is doing, and and where the key insights and differentiation are. I mean, granted, I don't know the space as well as you do, but what's the actual secret sauce and why is it working?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So the core is biofeedback therapy, which is what we consider a bottoms-up approach. So we actually collect your real-time biometric data and then teach you to manipulate your own heart rate so that you can shift your nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic tone, which is incredibly important if you have chronic pain, anxiety, or other autoimmune conditions. Does that help?
Yeah, I mean, and there is established proof and literature out there, or is it more experiential part of medicine?
Oh, it's been used since the 80s clinically. So it's been research studies. There's over 1,000+ studies in this space. We're just making it super accessible so that you can use it at home. And I see questions about, what's other competition or sauna or applied VR. Again, the core of what we do is this biofeedback therapy, making it more accessible, and putting it into VR actually increases the efficacy because it's such a high stimulus environment. You learn that biofeedback faster.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Is yours the only one so far that does have the VR experience included? Is that the main secret sauce right now?
Pairing the biofeedback with VR, that's right. And we have a patent on that system.
Got it. Thanks.
I think you mentioned 4 sessions a week to get these results. How long do you actually sit in the VR visualization to get the results?
You can do 5, 10 to 20 minute sessions. You can choose. And actually 4 sessions is just what people are doing of their own volition. And that's the average usage. For efficacy, you actually only need to do 1 to 3 sessions a week, about 10 to 15 minutes each time.
Okay, thank you.
Can you speak just briefly to how you would work with a pain clinic? Like, does this potentially eat into their higher margin, pushing opiates on the masses?
Actually, no, because for most of these pain clinics, there's heavy restrictions, as you may know, around opioid prescriptions. So there's this huge white space right now where they're not able to offer a lot of prescription, but at the same time, there's not a lot of alternatives out there. So we've actually been able to really pretty easily integrate into their workflow. So they'll recommend this to their patient will take it back home, and then they'll be able to get on the portal, the provider, and see how their patient is doing, and then provide guidance. And they can actually charge to existent CPT codes for the time that they take to onboard the patient and then use and track that data.
Thanks.
What's the ideal life cycle of one of your consumers? I mean, obviously you want to get them off it as quickly as possible, but then they're paying for a lesser amount of time.
Yeah, so in terms of efficacy, we see people get there in around 3 to 6 months, but most people will stay subscribed to maintain, right? It's kind of like going to the gym. In the beginning, you really need to go and work your muscles, but then afterwards, you don't need to be doing it every single day.
And how far along are you in user adoption? Like, what does your user growth look like? And are you mostly getting those users through partnerships with clinics or through medical practices or through insurance companies?
Great question. So we've been growing really primarily through the caregivers and providers route. And it's all been sort of word of mouth consumers will hear about us and then tell their providers, and then, or the providers will hear about us and then tell their patients. So we have this kind of nice symbiosis going on there. And one of our advisors is actually
Time. Thank you, Celine.
All right. Hello again. Popping back in. Thank you so much, Celine, for the presentation, judges for your questions. Next up, I would like to welcome Trey Phils with Jimble. Good luck and take it away.
Cool. Let me share my screen. Hey, guys. Can everybody see?
Yep, you're good.
All right. Hey guys, my name is Trey Phils. I'm class of 2019 and we're building Jimble. Essentially, Jimble is the simplest way to connect you to local fitness and athletic opportunities. And it's something I came up with back in 2019 as I was a professional basketball player and I was running into a number of difficulties renting a basketball court. Now, not only was I having difficulties finding these spaces, but communicating with the hosts, finding out their schedules, and actually booking these activities was kind of a nightmare. So I said to myself, I'm going to fix this problem for myself in Charlotte, North Carolina. And lucky for me and lucky for the Jimble team, not only were we able to connect me, the local athlete, to a facility rental, but we found out a lot of community members were able to benefit from this platform to get connected to trainers, local fitness spaces, and community athletic organizers. We've really been able to problem solve through design, and we've made it as easy as possible for the local business to run their day-to-day activities, from financial analytics, team member management, and scheduling. And we're converting all of this information into a very easy to use user app. So this is something we feel is our bread and butter. It's something that can compete in the likes of Airbnbs, Ubers, DoorDashes. Except for those respective spaces, we are focusing on the sports and athletic market. And it's something as easy as 7 clicks to go from homepage to checkout to book your next training session. We started out as a transaction-based business model, so we quickly realized we needed a lot of bookings to make a lot of money, and we pivoted to a tiered SaaS with options of $25, $100, and $350 a month, tailored to the personal trainer, the single facility owner, and the multi-facility owner or franchise. And a quick stat at the bottom about how quickly this revenue can scale. A number that we feel we're not too far off from is 300 total customers will equal around $570,000 in annual recurring revenue if you distribute that across equally, as we're scheduled to launch this version 2 in the fall, and we're projecting from $50,000 to $70,000 in annual recurring revenue from day one, just from our beta testers and word of mouth in our wait list. Now, at the core, we're focusing on workouts and sports training. The reason being, there's 33 million kids across the United States who are aspiring to play at the varsity, college, or pro level. And the reason for that is college athletes and pros are making more money than ever before. And as a result, parents are willing to invest more money for their kids to make it to that level. And you can ask Kendall Phils about this. She called me out for every dollar that I spent to get to my level. They're spending well over, in many cases where sports and grassroots sports are dominant, well over that $4,000 a month, a year on just that activity for training and accessing these local athletic spaces for team facility rentals and athletic experiences, et cetera. How are we going to get in front of this core market? We're leveraging high-level sports partnerships. Our network, we're fortunate to have a number of high-level professional athletes be on our cap table, and they've been able to get us in the room to really make us synonymous with high-level workouts and high-level sports training. At the same time, we've been attacking the grassroots front, and we've been partnering with local businesses and local community organizers to really drive those consumer downloads with a very low lift from the Jimble end. We also plan on going to fitness and athletic conferences that are happening across the summer and the fall, where the decision makers are looking to implement innovations in this athletic space to really, make this a household name across the next year. Also, we feel like we can growth hack this pretty easily. Myself, I'm a TikTok content creator. I have close to 1 million followers on TikTok of young athletes, and we are supported by one of TikTok team leads in entertainment and sales to really accelerate our digital strategy once it's time for us to launch in the fall. To supplement that workout and sports training, we're also building in the community athletic experience space. And we're doing so by really strong partnerships. We've been talking to Hampton, Radford University, and my alma mater, Charlotte Christian High School, to pair up with them with intramurals and summer camps. So we're seeing a few conversations with the decision makers can lead to potentially thousands of downloads on the consumer side fairly quickly once we get into those spaces. This is a little bit of our backstory. We did a beta release last summer in Charlotte, North Carolina. We grew organically to Atlanta and the surrounding areas, and we onboarded 60 businesses and saw over 3,000 user app downloads. And my favorite stat that's not on here, we saw a 33% rebook rate from our beta testers. So we saw it was a very sticky platform, and it was something.
Time. Sorry, Trey.
I'd love to understand, I guess, like, as you kind of talked about the go-to-market and kind of going through schools, like what does that look like in terms of going to schools, but then also kind of the next level of actually getting to the actual end user in terms of the students, and how do you kind of actually end up getting to them?
Yeah, so that's as simple as setting up conversations with athletic directors of these programs or head of intramurals, people that are in charge of the local athletic ecosystem. So to use Charlotte Christian, for example, 3 conversations with their AD, and we'll be implementing the Jimble software for the entire K through 12 student body to use this as a booking option for their summer experiences.
I'm a little bit confused about the revenue model. You're charging both the businesses and then the consumer. Can you just clarify that a little bit?
Yeah, no, so we're charging the businesses, the businesses, a tiered model from 25, 100, and 350. We also have a free version, which will operate off of service fees. If the business wouldn't like to pay monthly, that's what we'll be doing.
So it's an aggregator for gym spaces, and then the consumers just simply pay the businesses that are on the platform?
Yes, they'll be using it as a day-to-day business management software.
Cool, thanks.
How do you view the competitive landscape? Because there are a number of kind of platforms that, whether or not they're directly competitive, like are trying to go after kind of student athletes in general and trying to go through schools and whatnot. So I'd love to kind of get your opinion.
Absolutely. And this is one thing that kind of fueled us early on, is we were able to win over pretty big clients from a few on this left side. And the reason being, the current platforms that they're using are just the best available. They weren't necessarily designed exactly for the ecosystem that we know so well through our founder market fit. So platforms like MindBody, Vigero, and Booksy, if you go on there, you're oftentimes searching through facials, barbershops, wellness appointments. And we feel like the user experience should focus a lot more on the relationship between sports and athletics and fitness, rather than fitness being a subset of the wellness space. And as you can see on the right, lastly, ClassPass with a screenshot for booking manicures now. So we're focusing strictly on fitness and athletics. And then I guess to continue on, I'm not sure how much time we have, but the internal softwares that we've been able to beat out happen because they are looking to increase their visibility and look towards more so of a marketplace. And while they help with their internal business management, they don't have that mobile app counterpart that's as accessible and easy to use. It's more so a just business internal software.
Based on your name, do you pronounce it GIF or GIF?
That's a wild question.
That was a joke. No, don't need to answer.
I'm curious how much revenue you've been able to book so far and what that growth looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. So we did a beta test, and we only pocketed around $1,000 in revenue because we were taking such a small transaction fee. So our pivot allowed us to get close to, we're looking at around $50,000 a year currently from day one, but we haven't launched our version 2 yet. So we will be converting our existing pipeline to
Time.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you again, judges and Trey as well. Now we have our second to last group, penultimate pitch. We have Midnight Oil Collective presented by Francis, as well as the rest of the team, including Edwin and Chola. So I'd like to welcome Midnight Oil Collective to the stage.
Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm Francis Pollock.
I'm Shola Fadiram.
And I'm Edwin Joseph. We are 3 of the 9 founding artists of the Midnight Oil Collective. Let's talk about the starving artist. Maybe when you think of the starving artist, you think of some genius bohemian sequestered away in his tomb, his entire life committed to his work. The myth goes that if the artist starves enough and applies himself, he will produce something great, something that changes culture. The starving will have all been worth it. But what do today's starving artists look like? Today's starving artists graduate from competitive musical theater programs in New York City with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of student loan debt and no prospect of ever being able to pay it off. Starving artists look like screenwriters who sell their IP to film studios for pennies, giving up all equity while the studio makes hundreds of millions of dollars. Starving artists are the actors who make less than a living wage and give away 10 to 20% to their managers and agents. Our field is profoundly broken. The people we rely on to capture our shared humanity are continuously disenfranchised and under-resourced. Our development pathways are outdated, inefficient, and inequitable. No more. It is time to empower artists with the same tools that have sparked innovation across industries like tech and healthcare. It's time for artists to have access to venture capital tailored to today's creator.
Midnight Oil Collective incubates, accelerates, and funds arts projects, making us a venture studio. Our system supports artists and aligns their interests directly with investors. You might think of us as a Y Combinator for the arts. Single arts assets have produced revenue comparable to tech unicorns, and yet there is no institutional investment model to which visionary artists can turn. Here is what a venture studio for arts assets looks like.
We specialize in developing projects in 3 highly scalable verticals: on-stage projects, on-screen projects, and disruptive ventures. The creators of these projects follow a clear pathway. New artists receive a grant and go into incubation. Incubation focuses on product development and financial literacy. This means they polish their scripts and projects and take part in workshop series focused on scaling and monetizing their projects. After successful incubation, we invest $25,000 of pre-seed spark funding so that the artists can create a proof of concept. This may include workshops or beta tests of their products. Armed with this proof of concept, the artist then enters acceleration, where they learn go-to-market strategies, expand their team, and explore partnerships. They emerge with a complete business plan and the opportunity to take on seed funding through our Alpha Fund. This investment allows them to produce and scale their product.
Our model cuts out unnecessary intermediaries and removes development inefficiencies. These shifts alone will radically transform our current cultural landscape. We take it a step further. We want to ensure that every venture we develop reaches its full potential, and that every creator is supported along the way. For this, we turn to cooperative economics. It is industry standard in arts and entertainment to split profit from investment funds 50-50 between investors and producers. Using this precedent, we saw an opportunity to mobilize artists in our portfolio companies to act as cultural analysts. While each of our funds has a traditional GP, our artists perform a rigorous collaborative evaluation of each piece of content before it takes on its next round of funding. For this extra work, our artists are cut into the carried interest of the fund, ensuring cooperation over competition and aligning interests of artists and investors.
When investors ask us what our competitive advantage is, we say it's simple. We empower artists to innovate. No one else supports artists like we do because no one else is centering their financial and artistic needs. Through development support, partnerships, investment, long-term profit sharing, and community building, we attract and retain incredible talent, providing a new, better option for artists.
Our Spark model is highly scalable. As we generate returns from our first fund, we will be able to seed new funds, each of which will be capable of supporting 50 new ventures. This is a model without precedent, and we are already seeing it work. Our venture studio is up and running, and we have 9 inaugural portfolio projects that will be ready for Spark investment in the fall. We have raised $500,000 and are in the process of raising our $5 million pre-seed Spark fund. We have received major traction in the press and recently won the Manolo Sanchez Prize at Startup Yale. We have laid the groundwork for explosive growth and have an ambitious 5-year plan. And this competition and your support could be the very spark we need to take off.
The only times these days that I don't feel cynical is when I see leaders creating sustainable, humanity-focused opportunities for innovative creators to work efficiently and retain ownership in the success of their work. At MOC, we believe liberated creators can liberate creation, and that together we can build a better world.
Our model is ambitious and unprecedented. And our founders are always looking to connect with anyone who dares to do more than just stream, who dares to create. Partners, mentors, supporters, and creators, come burn the midnight oil with us. Thank you.
Excellent. Time for Q&A.
How do you measure the success of your community? Is it based on the amount of revenue they're able to bring in? So that would skew you more towards ones that were commercially successful or ones that had won some sort of honor that indicated quality. So certainly when I worked in publishing, we had this trade-off between those who would win the Nobel Prize, but perhaps never even break even on what we were paying them versus the ones that, you know, would be the next Hunger Games.
We believe that both are important. We also believe that commercial work doesn't have to be artistically saccharine or unfulfilling. Ultimately, from a financial perspective, you know, we take this approach where, like, you know, a rising tide lifts all ships. And if we do have a couple of unicorn or unicorn-esque projects, that's going to be a great thing for people who have historically not been able to participate in this field, who have been historically excluded. And I also think that by mobilizing the award aspect of the current industry, you know, it just brings attention to art that needs to reach a broader audience. Wouldn't you say so, Edwin?
Yeah, fundamentally, I just wanted to add one additional thing. In terms of our sort of like financial projections and like investment strategy, we're only investing in projects that we think have the potential to be worth $5 million, which turns out is like most things. Even in terms of like how to like identify successes, The Strange Loop, which like recently won multiple Tonys, has been in the running for about 20 years. And like nobody thinks that it's a project that could have been successful on paper. So our sort of gamble is on the fact that we don't have to pick winners because we're investing in 50 projects that as a community, people are vetting as an interesting idea.
Thanks. I was pausing to allow someone else to ask a question, but please cut me off if you have one. I am curious how you see those signals, how you quantify and measure those, because again, that's another challenging area, even if you are expecting to make a lot of money from commercially viable artistic projects, identifying the ones that will be a success versus the ones that won't is sometimes hard for a lot of companies. They've even been doing this for decades to get right. I'm curious how you're planning to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Catherine, thank you so much for that question. It's one that we have really spent a lot of time and attention on. You know, there's this like je ne sais quoi about art that like everyone points to, like, how are you going to like, you know, grab people's attention and create like the next commercial success? Well, you're right. Like sometimes the art needs a little bit of time to like hit its cultural moment, but there are like distinct measurable metrics that we can look for in the portfolio projects that we invest in. You know, that is like, is the pitch, like from a craft perspective, is the pitch well written? Does it need to be refined? Like, is there a way to put the product in front of a group of people and make sure that it's resonating with audiences? You know, these are things that we encourage our artists to do with the pre-seed and seed money that we provide them.
Also, I just wanted to add, we have a year-long developmental process where like each work is like actually worked on by a cohort of artists who are now incentivized to actually give their best ideas. So any idea that we present, as opposed to a lot of the studios that you're describing, the first time that an audience sees it won't be the first time that a lot of people have worked on it. So our assumption is that within the community itself, there's a great deal of like artistic, almost cultural vetting going on, because of which if in that year-long process, people think it's good, by the end, there'll be at least that specific type of people who think it's a good project.
We have these 4 points of validation that we like to point to, which is that like there's multiple places where
You're
we're
at time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, popping back in. Thank you so much to the Midnight Oil Collective team, as well as the judges again. And now, last but certainly not least, we have Alex with Hellometer. Good luck, Alex, and thank you for taking us out to the end of the pitches.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Great. So I'm Alex, and we're Hellometer, and we make quick service quicker. Imagine you're in charge of operations for Wendy's. You've got 6,000 locations under your belt, and you haven't seen innovation in decades. Online ordering and delivery, the electronic point of sale system, and that's about it. In your dining rooms, you actually have no idea where and when slow service is causing poor guest outcomes. And that's a problem because that causes you revenue loss. If a guest takes 20 minutes to get their food and writes a bad review, you're actually lucky because at least you know. Most guests won't. They just won't come back. In your drive-through, it's even worse. Guests will see your long lines and drive on past. They can get it somewhere else. And so the performance of your stores is actually at the discretion of managers and staff with highly variable skill sets and abilities. And fundamentally, the tool set that you have to manage your operations at scale is incomplete, inaccurate, or both. Enter Hellometer. We're a computer vision solution, and our launch feature helps operators grow revenue using cameras to measure and improve guest service speeds. So it's cameras in restaurants that measure each guest from door to dine and all the steps in between. For that Wendy's operator, that really changes three things. The first is transparency. You're not sitting around looking at reviews. You know exactly where and when slowdowns are causing you revenue loss. For your managers, they can easily diagnose exactly what the root causes are behind bottlenecks and slowdowns so that they can address them. In one location, it's ordering, and the manager can coach the staff on sticking to the script. In another, it's meal prep, and it turns out that the placards with the recipes on them are missing, and the problem is addressed by retraining. The second thing that Hellometer does is gamification. And our in-store dashboard and live alerts drives friendly competition by showing teams how they're doing relative to each other and by highlighting your rock stars. And then the last piece is incentives. Finally, you can introduce the performance-based service incentives that you've always wanted to, but have shied away from because your existing tools for measuring service speed, vehicle loop timers, and point of sales data are easy to manipulate. The results speak for themselves. A typical location will see about a minute improvement. So 47 seconds improved service speed pre-post Hellometer. That translates to a 7% uptick in revenue. Not bad for a couple of cameras. You're not changing CapEx, staff, menu, or the kitchen. It's also a really easy decision for that Wendy's operator to make. We're a fully featured security solution to boot, and we price at about what brands are spending for surveillance anyway. Already today, 14 of the world's best service brands are using Hellometer. We're growing 44% month over month and have gone from 3 to 50K ARR in the past 5 months. We're in nearly 70 roofs across the United States, Canada, Mexico, and Spain, and have 10 customers that collectively operate over 1,800 locations. It's a huge market. We're after a $67 billion TAM, and our unit economics rock. We see about 80% margins at our current pricing after a 9-month payback window. The team too is superlative. Before this and before Yale, I was leading privacy and security engineering efforts at Google, dealing with exactly the sort of problems that come up when you're putting computer vision in people's workplace. My co-founder, Alberto, is a computer vision expert and was formerly at Ford in their autonomous vehicles research lab. We're also joined by Ken, our founding engineer, who holds a master's from Cornell and has a background in defense consulting. We're backed by Y Combinator and a number of other strategic investors. Our largest clients love us, they're rolling us out, and so we're raising a seed to meet that scale. We're on path to beat 1 million ARR by the end of the year, which will hit after about 500 restaurants. Thank you. We're Hellometer. I know I have time remaining, but
Yep, no, I'll start. What does the go-to-market look like right now?
yeah. So in terms of our strategy, we actually scale through franchisees. So it's a unique space. It's kind of uniquely franchised. And so we're able to get in the door with the largest franchisee with brands. And it's sort of a tail wags the dog. Pretty quickly, the brands take notice. So for Hardee's, we started with their largest franchisee and are now on the Q4 adoption plan for their corporate entity, CKE.
And how long does it take when you're kind of going to the large franchises? How long does it take to actually kind of go within them versus kind of going to the individual franchisees?
So it's a bimodal sales cycle. What happens is it's typically like a one call close. We have a conversation, they like what they're doing, and they order a couple locations. After that, it's about 3 to 4 months where they're giving us the requirements for their brand. It has to integrate with their business, the BI tool. It has to have the day parting that they need, and so on. So usually it's a really quick to close, and then 3 to 4 months of working on integration before we get the green light to start moving forward with the brand.
And how much of this data can they get elsewhere? So I recognize that perhaps the cameras are unique, but the prep time and things like that, how much of that can they get from other platforms?
So there's two issues. They can get parts of the picture, but not the full picture. And so there's no other solution that will actually tell them the full service experience. You can get prep times and things like that from the point of sale system, but nothing will tell you how long the guest was standing in line before they could even place their order. And for quick service, I mean, speed is in the name. That's a core part of the value proposition they're selling folks. The other issue is that when you actually do what you want to do, which is to put incentives, it turns out the existing solutions are really easy to manipulate. So if you have an incentive around, say, prep times, it's really easy for like the managers to bump orders off early.
What percentage of the consumers with which you've trialed are still using your product?
It feels weird to say, we have not had a single person leave. 100%.
Wow.
I know. I'm sure it'll happen at some point.
So on average, how many cameras are per restaurant? I think you said you're in 500 restaurants. And also, are you selling the cameras to them, or are they part of a leasing package, to be able to upgrade them or do the maintenance?
We're in slightly over 70 at this point. It depends on whether they're doing dining room, drive-through, or both. For dining room, it's a single camera. For drive-through, it's usually 3. We've developed unique technology to be able to pass objects between cameras, which is a huge technical challenge. We're a SaaS model, so we charge about $150 a month per location. And the hardware is included in that. We ship out the hardware and everything that they need.
How does feedback loop work? So the cameras catch some inefficiency. You flag it through a dashboard. The resident manager does some coaching training to improve something. What happens afterwards? So there's an initial ROI. After the improvement, what is the steady state?
Yeah, so we catch the issue. Usually when we put in Hellometer, it kind of lights a fire up, right? They think that they're serving customers in 6 minutes or less. We're showing them they're regularly having lunch times around 12 minutes plus. And all of a sudden they start to really examine the parts of their service, and our dashboard helps them do that. After that, it's not just about the overall increase, it's about maintaining those gains. And so Hellometer.
Time.
All right. Popping back on. Thank you so much, both Hellometer, Alex, thank you so much for your pitch, as well as all the judges. Thank you for all of your questions. That is all 6 of our Yale Angels finalists. They were absolutely amazing. Thank you to you all. Now the judges are going to confer and choose a winner and a runner-up. Joe and I will accompany them, and we will be back in 10 to 15 minutes. So the rest of the team, please hold down the fort. Plenty of great content in that time, so please stay tuned for some of the slides from our finalists and all of that. While we are off deliberating, I would like to welcome 2 of the co-founders of Yale Angels, Sam Hendel and Adam Brenner.
Great, thank you very much, Ellen. Let's see, I think Adam's coming on as well.
Thanks so much, Ellen. Yeah, when we announced the pitch competition, we had absolutely no idea we received so many strong submissions. Well, we featured 6 tonight. We had a semifinal round of the top 13 out of nearly 80 submissions. We'd like to take a moment to recognize and introduce the other companies who made it to the semifinals. We're just so excited about all the companies that are coming in, and really end to end, we're really thrilled about the growth of the Yale entrepreneurial ecosystem. So one of those companies, Sam, is Fireworks Foods, which was founded by Zoe Geller and Jason Yang. You can see about their company, and they've had a lot of substantial growth. Go ahead.
Great. The next company, Universal Name System. This company does privacy preserving medical record linking. Founders Alexander Todorovich, Yale College 1990, was the CEO, and another Yale, Jonathan Hockman, Yale College 1990, the chief scientist.
Flare Exchange, which is a unique fintech empowering athletes by disrupting sports betting. Flare, among others, included Priya Shivani as a co-founder, Yale SOM Mazad Al Masood, Yale SOM Michael Gustav, John Hayden, Yale BA, and many others.
Next company, LeptoX Biopharma. This company is founded by 2 Ezra Stiles grads in 1985, Carla de Villers and Joseph Vinetz. This is a company that's a biotech R&D platform solving a critical problem of global animal and human health. Sorry, we're losing it there. Of a bacteria. Sorry, thank you very much. It's vaccines for a common problem in pets, and also doing the FDA process starting in about 5 years for humans as well.
Other semifinalists also include Plattenbaum by Mayan Strauss. Plattenbaum creates spaces for growing food in cities and provides services to make urban agriculture easy and accessible. Playbill, Anusha Raja from Yale School of Medicine. Playbill is a woman-founded, woman-led new company where we harness the power of play to help adolescents live healthier and happier lives. Grid Matrix with Janali Modi from the Yale School of the Environment. And Grid Matrix's cloud-based software eliminates traffic congestion, emissions, and accidents using data from a city's existing infrastructure. So, and one other group that we'd really like to thank is we had a splendid group of volunteer reviewers who are all listed out here. We couldn't do this without the real community of Yaleys. One thing we'd really like to flag is if you're interested in helping out in any way, contact us, because we can always use more people in the big tent that we're growing for Yale entrepreneurship.
Great, thanks, Adam. I'd like to take a moment during our time here and tell you guys a little about the history and mission of Accelerate Yale and Yale Angels. We started Accelerate Yale back about 6 years ago as a not-for-profit with the idea to strengthen the ecosystem of Yale alums interested in learning about startups and entrepreneurship. And while Yale has churned out highly successful companies like Pinterest, Twitch, Olo, many more, we felt that the connectivity was lacking, not only between alumni and alumni, but those important connections between alumni and the amazing things that are happening on Yale's campus, both in the grad schools and with undergrads. We initially focused on 3 areas: social and professional networking, 2, educating our community about venture and angel investing and bringing Yaleys together to learn about emerging sectors and companies, and 3, elevating entrepreneurship as a key part of the Yale experience. Developing connective tissue between Yale alumni organizations and student groups such as Yale Entrepreneurial Society and Sci City, and really to broadly help entrepreneurship be part of the Yale brand. And we want people to think of Yale as a place where creativity can thrive, where a young person can start a business and change the world, and where they have the support all the way from the germination of an idea as a student to their IPO as an alum and everything in between. Now, we launched Yale Angels in 2019, and it was really a natural next step for us. A huge part of supporting Yaleys and their companies is introducing them to capital and making those connections with the many angels and VCs within the Yale community. And we found tremendous support for our efforts throughout the Yale community and the administration. And as Wendy said before at the start here, I think we'd all be remiss if we didn't give another shout out to the Office of Development at Yale, who've been incredible partners to us as we've grown our organization. And starting out, even before COVID, we did many successful events in person, and we certainly didn't let COVID stop us. Just like any good startup, when COVID started, we pivoted, and we went from those in-person events to Zoom webinars in March of 2020. And we've had an incredible series of speaker events over the past 2 years with alums from companies like Reddit, Thumbtack, the amazing not-for-profit IMALS, Genius.com, the biotech unicorn Roivant, and many more. And please check these out. Accelerate Yale has a great YouTube channel. We have, I think pretty much all of our webinars are up on the YouTube channel, and I'd highly recommend them. They are great watching and listening. And our organization throughout COVID, we've continued to grow significantly into 2022. We just started doing in-person events. We had one sort of end of last year. Our email list, which started in early 2020 at about 400 members, is now over 5,000, and it's people from all over the world. And we're thrilled to host events like this and keep the momentum going. And again, as Adam said, we are looking for volunteers. If anyone's interested, please feel free to reach out to anyone in the Accelerate Yale team. And I also want to take a moment to mention an exciting new initiative that I'm part of called the Y Startup Index. The Y Startup Index is not affiliated with Yale University, but its mission is to create a virtuous circle for Yale alumni investors, Yale alumni founders, and the university itself. And the index has raised $25,000 checks from numerous Yale alumni, particularly founders and others in the venture space. And that includes Kevin Ryan from DoubleClick, Gilt Group and MongoDB, Noah Glass from Olo, Ted Bailey from Dataminer, and Jenny Fleiss from Rent the Runway, to name a few. And with this capital, the index then invests $25,000 checks into early stage companies founded by Yaleys. The requirement for these companies is that the founder is Yale affiliated, either in the undergrad, grad, professional school alum, or also potentially on Yale faculty. The business needs to be scalable, and the company has to have raised at least $450,000 in outside capital. And once companies achieve those 3 things, the Y Startup Index can prospectively invest $25,000 in a qualified round. The Y Startup Index is a fund, and it does take carried interest from its investors, but 100% of that carry is donated to not-for-profits supporting the continued growth of the Yale startup community. So it truly is a virtuous circle. And in its first few quarters, we started Q4 last year. The Y Startup Index has made 14 investments in Yale-founded companies, and it's donated its potential future carried interest to Yale University for the purpose of supporting the entrepreneurial ecosystem. And for either founders or investors interested in learning more, please go to ystartupindex.com or email the team at info@ystartupindex.com. All right, now I'd like to turn it over to my Accelerate Yale and Yale Angels teammate, Gary Stewart.
Thanks, Sam. To determine the final 5 finalists, we need to find independent reviewers to help us review the submissions. I'd like to recognize and thank the experienced Yale alumni and investors who stepped up to review decks and help us narrow down the field. These independent reviewers were Kojo Adavar, Megan Ananian, Megan Kane, Rick Chang, Derek Damians, Francisco Molnar Neto, Thaddeus Pollock, and Wesley. Thank you. We really could not have any. I'd also like to thank the members of the Yale Angels team and the Yale community for offering valuable pro bono services to our finalists. All 6 finalists will receive the following: expert advice on SEO from Michael Lewis, founder of Gossip Cop, which was successfully acquired; a session on legal tips from an initial equity raise from Adam Brenner of DLA Piper; an executive coaching session to strengthen your company's leadership from Joe Ilfield of Insight to Leadership; and a 1-hour pitch coaching session with Laura Brennan of Pitching Perfectly. Winner will also receive a 1-hour session of growth marketing advice from Lisa Brand, the head of digital growth at Vista, formerly Vista Print. Now, I turn over to my teammate, Michael Lewis.
Thank you, Gary. I want to first give a special thank you to fellow Yale Alden Richards, who volunteered his marketing and presentation coaching expertise to all 13 of the semifinalists. In spite of the short window of time, he provided incredibly valuable advice to each team, and they all raved about how helpful he was. He's actually provided support to more than 700 startups over the past 15 years, and our teams were so lucky to have access to him. Thank you again, Alden. I also wanted to mention our next event for everyone to mark their calendars. On July 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we're hosting a webinar on Web3. And I'd like to mention some of the panelists who will be included. Janine Yorio, class of 1998. She's the CEO of Every Realm. Another panelist is Lisa Carmen Wang, class of 2012, founder of Bad Bitch Empire. We also have Yakubu Agbese, class of 2005. He's an investor at Frontier Ventures with a focus on ethics in crypto. And Eben Smith will be a panelist as well, another member of the class of 2005. He's an advisor to the founder of World of Women. He also recently bought a UK football team with a DAO. I believe our judges are back, and it looks like they have a decision. Ellen, are we ready? Do we have the decision to share?
Are they back? Hold on, let me just check. Hold on. I'm not sure that they're back yet. Joe is not here. Hold on just a second. Sure. I don't see them back yet, so we might just need to hold down the fort for a few more minutes. Hopefully this means that they're struggling with the decision. I mean, I thought the teams were really great. If any of the other members of the Accelerate Yale team would like to come back up, that is fine. We will be hosting an in-person happy hour in New York this summer. So keep your eye out for that. And we will have more speaker events, webinar events coming, and we are looking to pivot back to in-person events more and more as we get kind of out of, back to normal living. So that's
And if you have
exciting.
ideas for events, please let us know.
Yeah, we welcome people, especially, people who can help us do things on the ground or who want to help out with all the work that goes into a webinar event as well. That's all the stuff that includes, running a Zoom, doing the publicity, doing graphic design, and pushing out, information to our partners, things like that. So it's maybe not the most glamorous stuff, but it's important, and all of you are here because of all of that work from our volunteers behind the scenes. So, so I think, let me see here. I'm just going to check on their status. Yeah, our judges are not back yet. So let's see here. Oh, I have a gray cat too, Richard. He's wandering around here asking for his dinner. He's very upset that he hasn't had dinner yet. So. Sam, would you like to?
I just came on just to say, for everyone in the audience, there's a tremendous amount of momentum at the university. Josh Gabal was hired. I think the role is associate or senior associate provost. I'm looking at it for entrepreneurship, and he's overseeing sort of the whole entrepreneurship ecosystem at Yale. And we, Claire Lineweber from Sci-City, who I think who was on the webinar earlier, I think is on the webinar now, has been a huge supporter of ours, and we're just excited for all the great things happening in the university, and then the students as well. Yale Entrepreneurial Society, and there are a number of other student organizations who are doing great things on campus, and we're really trying to, for Accelerate Yale, Yale Angels, We're just trying to keep that connectivity going. Between alumni together, connecting alumni closer to what's happening in the university. We're really seeing sort of over the last 6, 7, 8 years that we've been doing this, some tremendous momentum. And I also want to thank Wendy, our fearless leader as well, who keeps the lights on at Accelerate Yale Angels, and all the team members. We really have a wonderful organization and all have a lot of fun together. So again, we're always interested in people who are interested in being part of this. So please feel free to reach out. We've got great things going on, and I think I'm certainly encouraged by all the changes at the university, and I think some real momentum behind supporting the alumni, supporting the students at the this university to go and do great things at whatever stage of their career they're at. So I'll stop there, and I'll let someone else buy some more time.
One thing that I will kind of put a call out for while I have all of you captive here, some of the help that we put out a call for in our recent survey, our member survey earlier this year, included help with accounting and finances. In particular, accounting support is one of the areas that we could really use some assistance with. I do have a few names of folks who put up their hand to help us out with that. But if that is an area of expertise and you want to reach out to us directly on that, it's just on my to-do list, but it is important, and we do want to make sure that we have our act together on that front, and that we're taking care of our taxes and all that good stuff. And then the other things that we could really use some help with, and again, we will go back into our records, but it's always easiest if you just email us directly and put your hand up and say, I want to help. Organizing events is a lot of work. It's fun work, but we are always looking for people who are willing to help us identify speakers and do all of the work of publicity, organizing the Zoom, and all copywriting, email marketing, all of that kind of stuff. So, and that also goes for the in-person events as well. We would love, love, love to be able to do in-person events, say in Silicon Valley or in Chicago, or in key, even in Europe, if folks want to organize something, say in London, or another place on the planet. We do have members literally all over the planet. So if you want to organize something, reach out to us, and we will figure out a way to support you to actually execute on that. My hungry cat's making a lot of noise right now. So yeah. Let's see here. And also, one other thing is we do have students who are starting to put up their hand to volunteer to help us. So if there are alumni, especially young alumni, who would like to get involved to help us kind of work to identify those student volunteers and to train them and to manage them, that would be great too. We are a volunteer-led organization, so we do all of this in addition to our regular jobs and lives. So if we don't always seem as responsive as you would like, that kind of explains it, but it doesn't mean we don't care. It just means we're a little busy, but we will get back to you. So yeah.
Wendy, do you want to maybe ping Joe to just make sure?
Yeah. Let me text Ellen and Joe. Hold on just a second. I'll be right back, you guys.
Yeah. So I think from our perspective, yeah, we're really excited about what's happening on campus also with Yale Ventures and with everything that Sci-City is doing, and all the various organizations, because there's a lot of infrastructure being built around entrepreneurship at Yale that wasn't necessarily there when we were all there. So I think it's an exciting time to be part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem at Yale.
Okay, so I just texted with our judges, with Joe and Ellen, who are managing our judges. So I'm just waiting to hear back from them. I think they're back. Okay, so I would encourage, let's see here. I would ask for Flipit to go off camera, please. Turn off your camera. And we will have the judges come on, and I'm going to I'll stop talking here. Here we are.
Oh, I'm just saying the judges are joining us now with their decision. So Jillian, are you willing to take it away?
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you all for your time. Obviously, as you could tell, we were late coming back. So it was definitely a discussion between all of us judges. So thank you all for the great pitches that you guys provided. But without further ado, the runner-up that we chose was Flowley. I don't know if we're doing round of applause. Yes. And then the winner that we chose was Hellometer. So congratulations to both of you guys. And again, it was a very hard decision, and congrats and thank you to everybody who was pitching today.
So perhaps we
Slowly
can have
Hellometer, if you want to come on screen so we can applaud you. Congratulations.
So thrilled for you. Okay. All right. Well, that was really cool. What an amazing set of pitches. All of the companies were really amazing. I don't know how, no wonder it took you a while to find a winner and a runner up, because I thought all 6 were really outstanding. So, so with that, let's wrap it up because we're a little bit behind here, but only a few minutes. So what I wanted to just do was to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I wanted to thank our amazing judges, Jillian, Matt, Catherine, Kevin, Josh, and BG. We are so honored to have you here tonight. It was a gift to have your expertise shared with the Yale community. This recording of this session will be shared within the next week, and I will attach the chat record. I know a lot of people who were tuned in were really trying to capture all of the names and comments that we're going through there. So that chat record will be shared with all the attendees as well as the pitch finalists and the judges. I also, once again, would love to thank our sponsor, our platinum sponsor, the Yale University Office of Development. You have been such a wonderful partner to Accelerate Yale and Yale Angels. We cannot thank you enough. And we also wanted to thank our bronze sponsors, Yale Ventures and Newfront Insurance. Again, you guys are such awesome partners. We look forward to building out our partnerships with both of you. I wanted to acknowledge again our co-sponsors who helped us get in those applications from diverse parts of the alumni community, as well as the Yale community. And that includes the Yale Black Alumni Association, the Yale Latino Alumni Network, the Association of Asian American Yale Alumni, Yale Gala, First Gen Yale, Yale Blue Green, Sci City, the Yale Club of Silicon Valley, Yale Fin, Yale Women of NYC, and Yale Women of Northern California. We also wanted to thank YAA Shared Interest Groups for making this event possible. We could not do this without you. And I just wanted to congratulate Hellometer and Flowley once again. We're so thrilled for you. And all of the finalists will also receive access to those pro bono services, which are quite valuable. So thank you very much to our judges and to all the aspiring startups who joined us this evening and all of our volunteers. Thank you so much and have a great night. See you guys later. All right, bye.